Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for clicking on this Rank the Movies video. Alright, well, I said I wasn't going to talk directly about an individual movie. I've kind of got some big topic ideas for the next 3 weeks. And it starts with the fact that I've went over my top 100 movies of all time list, and I've done some tweaking, I've done some movements, I've done some editing. Now, if you want to see the full list, you have to go all the way back to the first video of Rank the Movies. Well, the first 4 go over the original list. All I'm going to do this week is just kind of go over the changes that have been made and kind of talk about the movies that have been added in and a little bit about the movies that have been pulled out. For visual aid, I only have the movies that are being added in. But let's start with the ones that are coming out of the top 100. And the one that actually is moving. One of them moved a spot, moved its position. The rest moved, but because some of these movies went in higher than, these weren't all direct pullouts. To start with, I'm going to put 2 of these movies together because the reason they got removed from the top 100 were simply because it's the same reason for both. That is movies number 98, 97, and 98. If I'm reading this correct. Yeah, 97 and 98, which were The Blob and Some Like It Hot. The Blob was the 1980s version with Shawnee Smith, and Some Like It Hot, obviously, Marilyn Monroe, Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis. The reason I pulled these movies out is simply because I had realized I had watched them so closely to making the original top 100 that they made it in there because I had just watched them for the first time. I hadn't watched them multiple times. The Blob I have, and it is a pretty good movie, but I realized, is it one of my favorite horror films? No. Is it one of my top 100 favorite movies? Probably not. It's still a really good movie. I still really like it. I've realized, because I just watched it, I had a bloated expectation of it, or a bloated thought process on it. The same thing with Some Like It Hot. I actually haven't watched it since. It's been almost 3 years now. At the recording, by the time this video goes out, it'll have been almost 3 years, and I had not rewatched Some Like It Hot. Which for a movie I'd only seen once, to make it my top 100, it just seemed ridiculous that I hadn't even wanted to go back and revisit it. There are movies I see in theaters and I want to revisit a couple of months later. Some Like It Hot, I just had no interest in revisiting it. So both of those got pulled out. The next one was number 93 of the original list. That is Ghostbusters 2. That's a nostalgia movie for me. I'll be honest. It's a very nostalgic movie for me. But I realized I only ever watch Ghostbusters 2 when I watch Ghostbusters. They go together. Though Ghostbusters is a better movie and deserves its spot in the top 100, Ghostbusters 2, again, it's a nostalgia movie. When I look at the other sequels on this list, which is Gremlins 2, number 1, and Die Hard with a Vengeance, which is currently number 60, I'm not sure where it was. In the original, it was slightly higher, maybe. Those are both sequels I can just watch. I will just watch by themselves. So it made sense to take Ghostbusters 2 out of the top 100 to make room for other movies. Joker left spot 91. Again, it's a great movie, but I realize it's probably not one of my top 100. It's a great movie. I really like it, but it could go. It could walk away. Not finally. I'll do the finally, and then I'll talk about the movie that moved. And finally, the last one that got pulled out was number 41 of the old top 100, which is Aladdin. I pulled out Aladdin because although it is my favorite Disney movie, I don't think it's my favorite animated film. And I think there are much better movies on the top 100 than Aladdin. Again, I really liked Aladdin. I really do like Aladdin. It is probably my favorite Disney movie, or Disney animated film that I've seen, but it just didn't feel like it needed a spot in my top 100. The movie that moved its spot is movie number 80, was 36 in the original list, now got moved to spot 89, and that is the movie Eulogy. It is the film starring Hank Azaria, Ray Romano, about them coming together for their father's funeral with the rest of their family, and the shenanigans that goes on in that movie. I realized Death at the Funeral is a much better family funeral movie. They're both really good movies, but Death at a Funeral is better. But I had Eulogy ranked way higher. I had it at 36, and Death at a Funeral was somewhere in the 70s. So I had to correct that, so Eulogy got knocked down. But let's not talk about what got pulled out, because that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to talk about what got removed. I just wanted to go over what got removed. I want to talk about the 5 movies that took those empty spots. Because now I have 95 movies in my top 100. That's not a top 100. So let's talk about the 5 movies that made the top 100. First off, this one is taking up the 100 spot. At the end of the video, I'll just do a quick run through. I'm not going to go into the movies. I'm just going to read off the list. It'll be very boring, but I'll do it anyways very quickly. But at number 100 right now is Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. This is one I considered in the top 100 back when I first made it. But I kept going, no, I can't put that in there. I can't put that in there. For some reason, my brain kept telling me not to put it in there. I decided to tell my brain to shut up. That I really, after rewatching this movie yet again, because I watch it not fairly regularly, like once every 18 months probably, somewhere in there, that I really do love this movie. That this is such a great movie. I love the fact Michael Keaton is amazing in this movie. Emma Stone, Ed Norton, Zach Galifianakis, they all do great jobs in this film. It's just a great story, and I love the fact that it has that single take feel to it. That although I know it wasn't filmed in a single take, it's just got this great single take feel to it. It's one I enjoy, and I have always enjoyed. It took the 100 spot just because, again, I think arguably there are other movies that could fight for... There are a lot of movies that could fight for that spot. I'm giving it to Birdman, but it just felt more secure making it number 100. This is a great movie. I really enjoy this movie. And I think it deserves the accolades that it got when it came out, and that it still deserves a lot of those accolades because it still holds up. It is still a great movie. The next one to join us, now taking over the 92 spot on the list, is the film 3,000 Miles to Graceland. I love this movie. It didn't make the top 100 because I felt like I had a lot of movies that nobody's ever heard of on my top 100 already, and this was just another one that would have made that list. Next week, I'll get into what I'm talking about next week in a minute. But yeah, it's a great movie. It's a heist film. It's a road trip film. This movie goes through so many different concepts. Because it's just a straight up heist film to begin with. It's Kurt Russell, Kevin Costner, David Arquette, Bokeem Woodrow, and Christian Slater dressing as Elvises to rob a casino. Then after that, it turns into a betrayal film where Kevin Costner betrays his fellow Elvises. And then it turns into a road film as Kevin Costner tries to get to their cleaner to get the money that he's owed, while Kurt Russell, Courtney Cox, and a kid also go to the same spot to change because he actually has the heist money, to change it for clean money. Then it somehow, there's another betrayal of Courtney Cox trying to clean the money for herself, and then it's a hostage film, because Kurt Russell eventually gets Courtney Cox and holds her hostage to get the money from Kurt Russell, but then they find her in a trunk because everybody gets arrested. It turns into an action film by the end of this movie. Like, it's got such a great cast. You also have Thomas Hayden Church, who plays a cop. And I think... Kevin Pollak, I think, plays the other cop. It's a great movie. It's a great ride. I love this movie. 3,000 Miles to Graceland. When I was putting together, what might go back into the top 100, what movies might I be looking at to take over these spots, this one was a high... I mean, even when I started expanding the top 100, it went, the top 200. This one was like 103 or something like that. It ranked very highly. It has always ranked highly for me. I just finally let it into the top 100 where it truly, truly belongs. Next up is one that isn't surprising. Taking the 50 spot, so the perfect halfway point, is The Shawshank Redemption. I think I left it out of the top 100 originally because I felt like it was too popular of a movie. Even though I've got some very popular movies in here, my list, it's more about my own feelings on these movies and how I like to watch these movies and how often I watch these movies. Play a lot into what makes a spot on the top 100. I just need to accept that Shawshank deserves that spot. If anything, years ago, I hadn't even had the interest of watching Shawshank one night. But I was at work earlier that day, and Shawshank was on, like, TNT or TBS, and I was watching it, but I didn't get to finish it because I had to go to work. Because my break ended, I had to go to work. And I just spent the rest of the day going, man, I really want to watch Shawshank now. Man, I really want to watch Shawshank right now. So I went home at, like, 11 p.m., getting done with work, and I watched The Shawshank Redemption. Like, that should have told me right there. That story, which I vividly remember, should have told me right there, this is a top 100 movie. Because all I did was kind of see it. I watched a couple of minutes of it, and then I had to rewatch this movie. So yeah. So this Shawshank makes the top 100. It deserves its spot. I have relived that feeling now a second time, actually. I've relived it a bunch, but I literally did it right before I started filming this video. Because I found The Usual Suspects on Fox, and I watched only the first, 3 minutes of that movie, and now I'm really going, man, I need to find time to rewatch The Usual Suspects, which is a top 100 movie. It's number 83. But yeah, Shawshank, it's made the list. Good for Shawshank. Alright, we got 2 left. The next one is number 48, so not that far away from Shawshank. I was kind of debating which one got to be higher. Is The Gentleman. If you had asked me when I saw this movie in theaters if this would have been a top 100 movie for me, I would have told you this is a really good movie. I really like this movie. I don't think I like it that much. Now, after watching it 5 times since it came out in 2020, I really like this movie. It's a great movie. It's a fun movie. McConaughey, the dude from Sons of Anarchy whose name betrays me, just the entire cast. Colin Farrell, they all do such a great job in this movie, putting it together and making it a blast. It's just a blast of a movie. It's a great comedy. I kind of have gained more of a love for Guy Ritchie films. I'm really excited for his new one when that drops. It might have already dropped by the time this video. It hasn't, but when I'm recording, it might have by the time it comes out. But yeah, I love The Gentleman. If you've never seen The Gentleman, check this movie out. It's worth it. And also go back to my top 10 of 2020, which I just did, my top 10 favorite movies that I'd watched for the first time in 2020. I think this one ranked it at number 2. Now I'd probably say it's number 1. But that's, going back and reevaluating. Because even my top 10 of 2019, I'm pretty sure the same thing. My number 1, upon reevaluation, would be different than what that list actually says. But this is a great movie. Definitely check out The Gentleman. And the final movie, which is taking the 31 spot in the top 100, is, it goes with what I said about House on Haunted Hill. Or not House on Haunted Hill. The Blob. Is this my favorite horror movie of all time? Yes. Yes, it is. My favorite horror movie of all time, now at the number 31 spot. Return of the Living Dead. I felt weird putting a horror movie on the list, so I kind of went safe with The Blob and House on Haunted Hill. But screw it! Return of the Living Dead. I love this movie. I love watching this movie. I have other videos talking about this. I have at least 2 other videos where I talk about the Return of the Living Dead, so I don't need to go into too much depth on this movie. I love this movie, and it has earned its spot in the top 100, and it gets to keep its spot. It's earned it. It gets to keep it. I love The Return of the Living Dead. It's my favorite horror movie. It's my favorite zombie movie. It's just a great movie. All right. So before I get into what I'm going to do next week, I'm going to go just real quickly. And I get it. I'm not using graphics. I don't have 100 movies stacked over here. I have nothing. I just brought in the new ones. But I'm just going to quickly read over the top 100 for my own ability. I'm not going to go into the movies themselves. So, number 100, Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. 99, House on Haunted Hill, 1999. 98, The Ice Harvest. 97, Space Jam. 96, Hot Fuzz. 95, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And everyone's probably already turned off this video. 94, Batman, the movie. 93, Kids in the Hall, Brain Candy. 92, 3,000 Miles to Graceland. 91, Chef. 90, Cabin in the Woods. 89, Eulogy. 88, Employee of the Month. 87, Sing. 86, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. 85, Waiting. 84, Play It to the Bone. 83, The Usual Suspects. 82, Mystery Men. 81, Butter. 80, Draft Day. 79, Idiocracy. 78, Death at a Funeral, 2007. 77, Baby Driver. 76, The Taking of Pelham 123, 2009. 75, The Loft. 74, Money Monster. 73, The Prestige. 72, Repo, The Genetic Opera. 71, Dracula, Dead and Loving It. 70, Zombieland. 69, Batman Mask of the Phantasm also shares that spot with the short film The Devil's Carnival. 68, The Gambler. 67, Free Fire. 66, Margin Call. 65, Shaun of the Dead. 64, Muppet Christmas Carol. 63, Airheads. 62, Four Rooms. 61, Dogma. 60, Die Hard with a Vengeance. 59, Bowfinger. 58, Identity. 57, Die Hard. 56, The Greatest Showman. 55, The Monster Squad. 54, Murder by Death. Is anyone still watching this? 53, Rat Race. 52, The Princess Bride. 51, Evolution. 50, The Shawshank Redemption, Halfway Home. 49, Rope. 48, The Gentleman. 47, Sin City. 46, Knives Out. 45, Lucky Number 11. 44, Inside Man. 43, Galaxy Quest. 42, Con Air. 41, Hail Caesar. 40, Back to the Future. 39, Transformers the Movie. 38, Basic. 37, Glengarry Glen Ross. 36, Gremlins. 35, Jesus Christ Superstar. 34, Mallrats. 33, Rocky Horror Picture Show. 32, Smokin' Aces. 31, The Return of the Living Dead. 30, UHF. 29, Transylvania 6 5000. 28, The Voices. 27, Death Race 2000. 26, 12 Angry Men 1957. 25, Batman. 24, Down Periscope. 23, The Fifth Element. 22, Ghostbusters. 21, The Muppet Movie. 20, The Thing, 1982. 19, The Producers, 2005. 18, Clerks. 17, The Death of Stalin. 16, Dick Tracy. 15, The Road to Wellville. 14, Radioland Murders. 13, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. 12, The Belko Experiment. 11, Spaceballs. 10, Cradle Will Rock. 9, Bad Times at the El Royale. 8, Grosse Point Blank. 7, Noises Off. 6, The Little Shop of Horrors, the musical. 5, Big Trouble. 4, The World's End. 3, Clue. 2, Murder on the Orient Express 2017, and number 1, Gremlins 2, The New Batch. So those are my top 100 movies, the new rankings. If you have curious about any of those movies you might have heard, go back to the original listings, because I talk in depth about each of these movies during those first 4 videos. Next week, I'm going to take a look at this top 100, and I'm going to see how they rate with Rotten Tomatoes. I'm going to give you my top 10 worst movies, according to Rotten Tomatoes. So of my top 100, what are the top 10 movies with the worst Rotten Tomato scores? I'm going to talk about also what has good Rotten Tomato scores. So tune in next week as I get tomato-y at Rank the Movies. I am Martin Prevost. Thanks for clicking on this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good one. I will talk to you later.